The Eagles really showed up and showed out in that game, didn't they? I mean, they completely dominated the Raiders, 310-0. Yeah, you heard me right. It wasn't even close. It wasn't a competitive game at all. The Eagles came out swinging, and despite the awful weather, they kept their foot on the gas. It wasn't perfect, but it was as close to a flawless performance as you can get. Now, I do have to apologize for not being able to live stream during the game. Honestly, the weather was all over the place. My electricity kept going in and out, so I had to rely on my phone and data to even watch the game. No Wi-Fi for hours. It was a mess. But the good news is I still got to see the Eagles handle business, and boy, was that a sight to see. For all those fans who've been calling for Jalen Hurts to be benched, well, he got benched in a way because he was putting on such a clinic against the Raiders. The only reason you saw Tanner McKee in the fourth quarter was because the Eagles were up by such a crazy score that they could afford to pull Hurts out. That's the dream scenario, right? I'm honestly proud of the offense. It's been a bit of a bumpy road, but we finally got a complete game from them. Let's start with the O-line. They were solid. Sure, there were a few run plays where I thought they could have done a little better, but Jordan Mailata, in particular, had one of his best games. I wouldn't be surprised if his PFF score is through the roof after this one. Cam Jurgens was also solid. Nothing flashy, but he did his job. That left side of the line looked good, and Tylen Stein had a good day too, although I think he could clean up one or two plays. Fred Johnson, though, going up against Max Crosby, held his own. Sure, he got away with a hold on that deep ball to Devonta Smith, but that's football. Overall, the O-line did their job, and it gave Hurts the time he needed to pick apart the Raiders' defense. Speaking of Hurts, I've got to give him his flowers. He was in control, calm, and cool as always. The guy's ability to bounce back and stay steady under pressure is what makes him so special. Eagles fans, I'm kind of disappointed in you, though. I see all this complaining and negative energy about Hurts, and it doesn't make sense. This man is the leader of this team, and he's been doing his job week after week. The way he handled that pressure, especially after all the talk earlier in the season, is exactly why he's the guy. And yet, where's the hype? Where's the energy? If I'm the one hyped about this win, what does that say? We beat the Raiders, and it wasn't even close, and y'all are still acting like this wasn't a big deal. That's the biggest difference between the Eagles in 2023 and now in 2025. The offense is firing on all cylinders, and the defense is absolutely locked in. Let's talk about that offense a bit more. Kevin Patullo, our offensive coordinator, did a solid job with play calling in this game. He's been a little hit or miss this season, especially with how he handled Dallas Goedert in the past. But this game was different. He fed the ball to Saquon Barkley enough, and even though the run game started a bit slow, Barkley eventually found his groove. He finished with over 70 yards, and that second half was a reminder of just how explosive he can be. But I also want to shout out Tank Bigsby. I still think Tank deserves more snaps just to give Barkley a breather. Tank doesn't lose yardage, and he runs hard every play. It would be great to save Barkley's legs as much as possible, considering the heavy workload he's had in previous seasons. And let's not forget Dallas Goedert. He had a quiet game in terms of catching touchdowns, but he dropped an easy one in the end zone. I know the Eagles fans watching were probably thinking, here we go again, but honestly, I'm not mad at Dallas for that drop. Yeah, it was a gimme, but he bounced back. The team overcame it, didn't let it affect them, and ended up putting up points anyway. That's the mentality of a championship team, and I think this offense is starting to click. Now, if we're talking about a full game, we can't forget about the defense. Even though the Raiders were never really in the game, the Eagles' defense still put on a clinic. You can see the difference between this year's defense and last year's defense. This year's group has a different kind of energy. They are tough, physical, and relentless. And it's not just the stars that are playing well. Even the role players are stepping up. Take a look at Brandon Graham, for example. The man had 2 sacks, and he's playing with a fire that only an older veteran can have. Even though he's been around for a while, he's still making a huge impact. I think he should even stay as a defensive tackle, rotating in and out even when Jalen Carter comes back. His veteran presence is invaluable. I also have to shout out Nolan Smith. He's been getting after the quarterback with some serious pressure. Jordan Davis is an absolute beast, too. The D-line is just ferocious, and they are creating chaos for opposing offenses. When you add in the linebackers like Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, you've got a defensive unit that's hard to beat. Oh, and don't forget Marcus Epps. I know a lot of people have been overlooking him, but he's been playing some solid football. He's been better than some might think, and with Sidney Brown looking steady too, the secondary is in good shape. I also want to give a quick shout out to Adoree Jackson. I know he's had some rough patches this season, but right now, he's playing some good football. He's been competent, reliable, and most importantly, he's getting better each week. Eagles fans have been critical of him, but it's time to start acknowledging his improvement. So yeah, this defense is real. It's championship caliber, and it's only getting stronger as the season goes on. This is the kind of performance we need to see consistently from both sides of the ball. If the offense keeps clicking like it did against the Raiders and the defense stays as dominant as it is, this team is going to be a serious threat. The road ahead won't be easy, but the Eagles are looking like they're peaking at just the right time. Continuing from that dominant performance, the Eagles have really started to show the kind of cohesion that you only see in teams built to contend for championships. Jalen Hurts has been the linchpin of this offense, and every week it seems like he's finding new ways to elevate the players around him. Against the Raiders, his vision, poise, and decision-making were on full display. He wasn't forcing plays. He wasn't panicking under pressure. Instead, he read the defense perfectly, hit open receivers, and made sure that Saquon Barkley got the carries he needed to find a rhythm. That balance is what makes this offense so dangerous. Hurts isn't just making plays for himself. He's making everyone better. And you can see the confidence radiating across the team. The wide receivers are running their routes with purpose, the tight ends are attacking seams, and the running backs are following their blocks and hitting holes decisively. What impressed me the most was how patient the offense was in certain situations. They didn't try to force the ball into tight windows, and they didn't feel the need to run up the score. Even in blowout situations, Kevin Patullo managed the game smartly. He made sure the starters were pulled at the right time, giving bench players a chance to get reps and rest key players for the next game. That kind of situational awareness is critical as the season progresses, especially with the playoffs looming. When you look at the way Tank Bigsby was used, it was smart. He relieved some of the workload from Barkley, and yet he still ran hard on every play. That attitude and efficiency are exactly what you want from a backup running back. It's not just about talent. It's about mindset, and Bigsby's mindset is exactly what this team needs when it comes to depth. The offensive line deserves another shout-out, too. Jordan Mailata, Cam Jurgens, and the rest of that unit were a wall against the Raiders' pass rush. The holes they opened up for Barkley were textbook, and even on pass plays, Hurts had plenty of time to survey the field and make accurate throws. Yes, there were a few small mistakes. Nothing is perfect, but overall, the line played one of their best games of the season. Fred Johnson going against Max Crosby was a critical matchup, and Johnson handled it well. You could see that Hurts' comfort in the pocket was directly tied to how well the line performed. A quarterback like Hurts can make great plays, but when he has time and protection, he turns into an unstoppable force. Looking at the receivers, Devonta Smith had another impressive showing. He was open, aggressive, and making plays after the catch. Dallas Goedert had a quieter game, but the drops were minimal, and he still made key contributions. Hurts' ability to distribute the ball evenly keeps defenses guessing. When one guy starts to dominate, the defense has to adjust, and that opens up opportunities for others. That kind of balance makes it extremely difficult for opposing coordinators to game plan effectively. A.J. Brown, for example, eventually got involved and made some big plays, proving that this team isn't one-dimensional. It's a multifaceted offense that can strike through the air, on the ground, or with trick plays if needed. Now, let's talk about the defense again because they deserve the spotlight just as much as the offense. The D-line is relentless. Brandon Graham, even at this stage of his career, is making plays that change games. The pressure from Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, and Maroto Dramo keeps quarterbacks on edge, which leads to hurried throws and turnovers. That front four doesn't just stop the run, they dictate the pace of the game. And when you add linebackers like Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, you've got a unit that can cover, tackle, and create havoc. The defense's ability to shut down the Raiders' offense even when the game was already out of reach, speaks volumes about their discipline and focus. Secondary play has been another pleasant surprise. Marcus Epps has been reliable, Sidney Brown is holding his ground, and Adoree Jackson has steadily improved. Jackson, in particular, has gone from a player who struggled early in the season to someone you can trust in crucial situations. His ability to read the quarterback, stick with receivers, and make key plays is exactly what the Eagles need as they approach the playoffs. And don't forget about the depth. Players like Adoree Jackson are stepping up and proving that the team can rely on multiple options. That's critical when you're facing teams that are loaded with talent on offense. You can't just rely on one or two stars. The Eagles have built a defense that can handle multiple threats at once. Special teams also deserve a quick mention. While they may not grab the headlines like Hurts or the D-line, their execution keeps the field position in the Eagles' favor. Punts, returns, and coverage have all been consistent, giving the offense shorter fields to work with and keeping the opposing offense pinned. That's often overlooked, but it's a crucial element in sustaining winning drives and controlling the pace of the game. What excites me most is how the Eagles are peaking at the right time. They're starting to play complete football, offense, defense, and special teams all working in harmony. Every unit is improving week by week, and the chemistry between players is evident. Hurts is confident. The offensive line is cohesive. The receivers are sharp. The running backs are physical and patient, and the defense is relentless. It's not just talent. It's preparation, coaching, and mindset all coming together. As we look ahead to the rest of the season, the Eagles have shown they can handle adversity. They've played through tough weather, bounced back from losses, and kept their focus. Beating the Raiders so decisively send a message not just to the NFC, but to the entire league. This team is serious. The combination of a championship-caliber defense and an offense that can execute in all phases makes them a legitimate contender. The chemistry, the talent, and the mindset are all aligning at the perfect time. Every player is buying into the system, and you can see on the field. The leadership of Hurts is central to this. He's not just a quarterback. He's the engine that drives this team. He sets the tone in practice, on game day, and in critical moments. His ability to stay calm, make smart decisions, and inspire his teammates is unmatched. That mindset is infectious, and it elevates everyone around him. When Hurts is at his best, the Eagles are at their best, and that was crystal clear against the Raiders. The confidence this team is building is exactly what you need for a deep playoff run. It's only going to get stronger as the season progresses. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the league have been growing louder. And if recent events are any indication, the Philadelphia Eagles may be entering a season filled with both promise and turbulence. Sources close to the team report that Jalen Hurts has not only been performing at an electrifying level on the field, but has also begun speaking his mind in ways few quarterbacks dare. Insiders suggest that during team meetings and private gatherings, Hurts hasn't held back, delivering blunt truths about the organization, the locker room, and the path to sustained success. While the exact details of his statements remain closely guarded, those present describe them as eye-opening and unfiltered, a kind of honesty that can shake even the most confident of locker rooms. The Eagles have long been regarded as a powerhouse in the league, boasting talent across every position and a coaching staff that demands excellence. Yet, the murmurs hint that Hurts' candid approach is causing both reflection and tension. Some players reportedly feel inspired, believing his intensity and commitment can push the team to even greater heights, while others are said to be cautiously navigating the shift in atmosphere. Analysts speculate that Hurts' outspokenness may be part of a larger strategy, a quarterback determined not only to dominate on the field, but to ensure that the team's culture matches its championship ambitions. Beyond the locker room, fans and commentators alike are buzzing about what this could mean for the Eagles' trajectory. Hurts' explosive plays have already captured headlines, but it's his willingness to speak uncomfortable truths that has truly set tongues wagging. Could this be the spark that propels the team to the next level, or might it herald internal friction that the league hasn't seen before? For now, the Eagles' locker room remains one of the most intriguing storylines in football, as the combination of elite talent and a quarterback unafraid to challenge the status quo keeps everyone guessing. The city of Philadelphia is watching closely, waiting to see whether Hurts' fiery presence will ignite a historic season or reveal cracks beneath the team's celebrated surface. Either way, the rumor mill isn't slowing down, and one thing is clear. When Jalen Hurts speaks, the football world listens. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.